Hello, my name's Denise. I hope you've had a good weekend. I certainly did. I went to Glastonbury this weekend and the sun has been shining and it's been really quite pleasant. So now I'm back and I'm going to be reading today's quote in the scriptures, which is, "As for me, in my integrity, I shall walk." And it goes on about Job, mentioning a number of situations that could put an integrity keeper to the test. But Job actually passed the test successfully, as implied by his words recorded in Job chapter 31. We are not suffering exactly as Job did, however. We must be faithful to God in matters large and small, if we are to bolster our position as integrity keepers and supporters to his sovereignty. Okay. Well, back in 2000, when my son died, I came across Job in the Bible. I didn't know. I never heard of him before. What it was, used to drink heavily. I mean, I'm an alcoholic, but this is like just after his death, and I just totally lost the plot. And I think it was about a week after he was buried. And I went out on a massive bender and I got very, very drunk. And this was a Friday night. And I got arrested for drunk and disorderly and put in a cell. And because it was Friday night, I was there from the Friday to the Monday morning. And it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. But on reflection, it was probably the best place for me to be. The safest place for me to be. Because I was in self-destruct. Anyway, I didn't want my parents to know because they'd just lost their grandson, and the last thing they needed was to see their daughter destroying herself with drink and being locked up. So I just stayed stum, and I stayed in the cell, and I didn't ask for anyone to come and see me. But I did know that I was entitled to a pencil, paper and a Bible. So that's what I did. I asked for the Bible because I thought a whole weekend, Friday till Monday morning, in a cell would drive me insane, especially with what was going on in my head, having just lost my son, and it was a very dark time. So they got me a Bible, and then on Saturday when I got sober and my head started to clear, I opened up the Bible, and I think it must have been the Holy Spirit because, like I said, I'd never heard of Job. But the book opened up at Job, which I thought was Job. I thought that's how you pronounced it. Anyway, Job. So I started reading, and then I learned how in one day he'd lost all his livestock. Then he'd lost his children in a house fire, 10 of them. And he still held his integrity to Jehovah. And he didn't know who was testing him, as we do today, because we know what was going on up in heaven. Satan said that, you've got a hedge all around Job, so of course he's going to be loyal to you, because he's had nothing to test his faith with. Let me see if he will stay faithful to you by testing him. So he tested Job by all these things. And as one man came in to tell him he'd lost all his livestock through a storm, another man came in at the same time to tell him all his children had been killed in a house fire. And then another one came in, and another, and it must have been it must have been overwhelming to say the least. But and then the next. And if that wasn't enough, him losing all that and having to comfort his wife, and from a rich man, powerful man, to a nobody within a day. This is how fickle this life is, though, isn't it, when you think about it? And then he was struck with an illness. He had a boil from the top of his head to the base of his foot, and it was so sore and so itchy and so infected. He stunk, and he would scratch it to try and get rid of it, and it just got worse. So he was raw. And then his three comforters said it was his fault because God was punishing him. And yet he still loved Jehovah. He still made sacrifices to Jehovah. He still said, "Bless Jehovah's name." Incredible. And coming back to me when I lost my son, I mean, like I said, I just read this Job just after I'd lost my son. And I sat in that cell for the weekend reading Job and absorbing what it was said and meditating what was and learning, being reminded that actually it's Satan that creates these things, not God. It's not God that causes all these horrible things to happen. It's Satan. If it wasn't for Satan, there wouldn't be death. We would be living in a paradise earth. But as it is, we're living in Satan's world, a system full of greed, selfishness, power trip. You know, it's just all, as Ecclesiastes says, it's all vanity and striving for the wind. And it is. This is why I zealously look forward to Jehovah's Kingdom coming, you know. And I learned the only way to live in this system happily is to do Jehovah's will, because if I go on my will, I end up in despair and misery. So therefore I do Jehovah's will. And Jehovah's will is to teach others about him and what a wonderful God he is, and to share my knowledge, because I have so much hope today, so much hope, and so much of a future to look forward to that a worldly person would not comprehend. They wouldn't even comprehend a paradise earth, let alone all the other blessings that come with it. But as for now, I've got Jehovah in my life. I have the Holy Spirit when I need it, and I'm doing his will, and it's all good, you know. I feel good. I have a purpose. I have the strength. I have a direction. It's fantastic. And if you want this, you know, and you want to learn why these things are the way they are, then go to the website jw.org or www.org. No, I lied. www.watchtower.org, and there you can arrange a Bible study. And there's lots of people that give their time out of love for you and Jehovah, so you can learn the truth from the scriptures. Because once you learn the truth from the scriptures, there is the real hope is. And as the great man Jesus said himself, know the truth and the truth will set you free. And it does. It sets you free from all this vanity, all this refuge of the world. And then we know, and we have our eyes fixed on the real life. So I love you all, and take care of yourself. Till the next time. Bye.